Go and a 1 and a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Greetings, salutations, and hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Brandonian podcast. That is the name I'm going with right now until I find maybe or think of a better working title. That's kind of the fun of these podcasts, and maybe I'll edit it, maybe I won't, is that this is just my first episode. I'm jumping right into it and I'm going to make my mistakes and I'm going to and like along the way. But I think that's the beauty of it, in that it's raw and it's real and it's me. There's no fluff. There's no pomp and circumstance yet. I hope to get better at editing this, but for the most part, it's just real, raw and uncut. And for those who might have sensitive ears, fair warning, in the future, I will probably swear a lot more. I am a swearing person. It tickles my pickle. It makes my soul happy inside, and it's how I express myself to my closest of friends. So if there's anybody out there who really doesn't like swearing, this might not be the... almost said it. No, I'm kidding. This might not be the damn podcast for you. Oh, man. I'm already having fun with this. Anyway, moving on. Once again, welcome to the podcast. This is my first ever episode. And if you can't tell, I have no clue what in the pretty pink hell I'm doing, but I am just taking a stab at it. So here we go. I had to get a sip of my homemade custom honey lemon tea that I prepared myself. And also, I'm recording this as well, like not just audio, but video as well. I will probably put recordings of this up on the YouTube channel, and don't expect anything fancy right off the bat. This is real, like, I don't know, guerrilla poor man's podcast, where it's just me sitting at a dining table with a microphone that, you know, a pretty decent microphone, I hope, that I bought off of Amazon, and, you know, voice editing or audio editing software to try and make this sound as presentable as possible without, you know, blowing your ears out or your speakers out, depending on if you're listening to through headphones or your car stereo or what have you. But anyway, fun fact, it is 11:55, and technically, in 5 minutes, it will be my birthday. So that's fun. And it's interesting because I don't know really how to feel about that. And you might be thinking, well, that's weird, Brandon. It's your birthday. Shouldn't you be happy and all this and other stuff, and just excited that, you know, you made it around the sun another year? And yes and no. If I got loud there, my bad. But yes and no. There are things that kind of go into it. And I feel like the more that I do this podcast, and maybe not even just with this first episode, the more real, raw, and honest I'm going to be. And that scares the living shit out of me, because I guess the best way to describe it is that I'm somewhat of a reserved person. Like, my friends might say, well, no, you're not, but those are my friends. I've had years to be around them. They, you know who I am. But for the purposes of people who don't really know me right off the bat, and to a possible audience out there who's fresh to Brandonian, it's like, well, I don't know what kind of dude this is. So yeah, coming out off the bat, I'm reserved. I don't like putting and no one really does, but I don't like putting the worst parts of myself or my shortcomings or my failings out there. But I think it will be therapeutic, cathartic, whatever healing phrase you want to apply for me, in that if I can address it and I'm honest about it, and I'm honest in somewhat of a public setting, then theoretically, hopefully, it can only help me get better. It can only help me grow. It can only push me to go forward. And do the things that I've always wanted to do or some of the things that I've been afraid to do. You know the whole spiel. But before I get into that, just a little bit of background about your boy Brandonian. I am a Los Angeles native, born and bred. I've lived here all my life. I went to school here, and let's see. I like Los Angeles, but I don't see myself always being here. Well, maybe not. It depends. I say that simply because I am a professional artist who is trying to break back into the animation industry. And other than New York, Vancouver, maybe another spot in Texas is coming up. But anyway, for the most part, the animation industry is here. So if this is my career, for the most part, I don't think I'm really going anywhere for a while. And that's okay. But yeah, professional artist, I need to, be more, what's the word? Not just positive, but I don't know. Can't find the words right now. Be more positive, present about that. Proud, out there. I don't know. I'll find it. See, I'm doing a lot of us, but this is my first podcast. I'm getting used to it. I'm trying to think of the right words to say. And sometimes there are no right words. Sometimes it just needs to be a stream of consciousness. I don't know. It's also near midnight, and I just got off of work maybe 2 hours ago. No, it is about to hit midnight. So no, 2 hours ago. Jesus God. Anyway, the thing about this podcast is that I have had this microphone for weeks, and I've been sitting and staring at it. It's been in front of my computer, and I've always been telling myself, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I said I wanted to do it. I've always had an interest in doing it, but for some reason I couldn't. And I think, being real and honest for a second, that's the fear, I guess, a fear of failure before you even try, which is one of my biggest hurdles to get over. So I don't know, for some reason, excuse me. I'll make a damn good honey lemon tea. Get at your boy if you ever want to try his honey lemon tea after the whole quarantine thing is over. But that's always been one of my biggest hurdles, I want to say, for maybe the past in 2020. So 8 years. And maybe I'll get into that one day. But finally, my birthday's coming up, and I have my thoughts and feelings about, being another year older, hopefully another year wiser. And I just said, screw it. You paid this money. You've said you wanted to do this. You've had an interest in it. And on some level, you think you have interesting shit to say. So just do the damn podcast. The first episode doesn't have to be an hour long. No one expects you to be, Steve Austin or Chris Jericho or Joe Rogan, or pick your favorite podcaster off the bat. No. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just get it out there, get it done. And if it's no more than 10, 15 minutes, so be it. That's fine. As long as you stick to it, you can only get better. So, yeah. But kind of getting back to an intro to this going forward, what are my goals? What are my intentions for this podcast? Right off the bat, I just want to have a conversation about, anything that interests me, really, and hopefully stuff that interests you. Like, for example, grown ass man, I'm a professional wrestling fan. I love watching wrestling with my friends who love wrestling, and I love talking about it. So probably in the future, I might address things. I don't know if I would address something like weekly shows like Raw or SmackDown or NXT or AEW. God, Wednesday night is great for wrestling. Anyway, No, it wouldn't be that, but maybe just my thoughts and feelings on a pay-per-view or what I enjoyed about it, or something I thought could be better, stuff like that. But not just that, games, music, shit that should make me smarter that I'm not really paying attention to until someone brings my attention to it. Just things that interest me and hopefully make me and whoever's listening in the future a better person. And in the future, it won't just be me talking to you, but I think until I feel comfortable enough on my own, it will be just me talking to you and saying things. And then in the future, hopefully in the near future, I'll have guests or people that I've met who wouldn't mind wasting an hour of their life talking to your boy and putting themselves out there for a bunch of random internet people to hear. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's kind of broad in what I want this to be, but it's mine. So I can grow it. I can mold it, shape this podcast into whatever direction, whatever path I want it to go. And that's exciting. It's 12:04. It is now the 8th of May, and technically I am 35 years old. All good. All good. I say technically because your boy was born at 1:51 a.m. So I kind of got a little over an hour and change before it's officially the day I was brought into this world. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. The whole thing about my birthday is that since I still have aspirations and things that I haven't achieved yet, it doesn't, especially at this point, it really doesn't feel like I should be celebrating. Like I don't necessarily have the right to celebrate if I haven't come up or gone up like I wanted to. But here's the thing, and this is hard to keep in perspective, probably for anybody, regardless of where you're at in life, is that it's a gift. It's still a gift. And that sounds cliche as hell, but it truly is. Like you're living and you're hopefully in a position where you're not struggling too much. You're not, living on the street. Your mental health is, hopefully fairly intact. And, you got a roof over your head, a place to stay, food to eat, people who love you, people who check up on you, call you just to say hi or let you know, hey, asshole, I love you. If you have that, then it's not so bad. And you really have stuff to be grateful for. And as long as you can continue to, I guess, work hard, don't give up on yourself, and find ways around your whatever obstacles are holding you back, you can achieve your goals eventually. Like for me, it's also a matter of not comparing myself to others. Their path is their path. Mine is mine. It is hard not to, especially when you feel like I've worked my butt off and I couldn't get this, or it slipped through my fingers because of this dumb thing, this and that and the third, whatever. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. If it's important to you, you'll keep working at it. And hopefully, I like to believe that it'll happen for you. It'll come to you. But that's me. And I am half pessimist, half optimist. So we'll see where that gets me. I won't always be drinking honey lemon tea, but damn, it tastes good. What else? Like, this is just me jumping like feet first. I have no preparation. I just set everything up and told myself, screw it. I'm going to get off the computer and stop working on projects for a minute and finally do this. So, yeah, this is, like I said, this is as raw for me as it can get. But that's pretty much it. Hey, Brandon, how have you been spending a good chunk of your time? Oh, well, thank you for asking. You know how I mentioned how I don't feel like I deserved to like really celebrate my birthday or this and that? Like that also applies to taking a break. For example, like chilling out and like watching something on Netflix or like watching TV or playing games. Like I don't feel like I have that time to chill and waste and relax. That's something that's time I could be using, you know, working or hustling or this and that and the third. And that's not the best way of thinking. Not, you can, but it's not healthy. You really shouldn't, you know, hustle and work 24/7 and not treat yourself, not give yourself a break, not give yourself a chance to relax your mind. And I've been trying to do that lately because there are so many shows that I've loved and that my friends have told me about that I have just bothered not to watch because I feel like I can't spare the time. So one thing I did know I was going to do when it was announced was I was picking up Final Fantasy VII Remake and, of course, Resident Evil 3 Remake. And that has been such a fun brain break for me. Just a good way to like kill 2 to 3 hours, recharge my batteries in a sense. So, yeah, I played the original. I didn't get it originally in 1997. A little bit of a backstory, and maybe I'll go deeper into FF7 in the future. Did not buy it when it came out in 1997. I was hype about it, but, you know, funds weren't always what they were. I was the one buying the games. I was a kid, so it was up to my, you know, wonderful, lovely mother. And when I didn't initially get it when it came out, it was kind of like that out of sight, out of mind. And I am so thankful that the internet was not as prevalent as it is today, that social media wasn't around, because if I had waited 2 years, it definitely would have been spoiled and I probably wouldn't have wanted to pick it up. But it was kind of out of sight, out of mind when I didn't pick it up. And then I actually bought a used copy 2 years later in New York with my friends Reggie and Joshua Ayers, rest in peace. It was the last day of our East Coast trip and we had some time to kill before we got on a flight back to LA, and they allowed us to wander about Times Square in New York for a minute. And we found this little mom and pop game shop and it was on sale for, I think, $20 at most, and picked it up. And the summer of 1999, me heading into high school, was just me plugging away at Final Fantasy VII. I could not get enough of it. I absolutely loved it. You know, as a kid, that was my first, that was really seeing kind of like my first story with like any kind, first video game with any kind of like in-depth story and plot and character development. Like for the most part, I've just been used to, what was it, Sonic and Tomb Raider, and there wasn't much to it. It was pretty linear and straightforward. So seeing that, and especially with this kid who's, you know, been into anime for like the past, at that point, 2 to 3 years, and I'm trying to like gobble up as much content as I possibly could. Like seeing this just changed my world, and I loved it, and I loved the characters. And seeing this remake, having this remake be an actual thing, there was no way I was going to pass up on it. And I have enjoyed every single second of it. I can honestly say this has made me a kid again, and it's been wonderful. So that's one way I've been killing my time. Also played RE3 remake, and that was a short, fun game. I have my thoughts on that, but I won't go into it yet. Nothing really negative. It's just short and fun. So that's one way I've been spending my time. And of course, I'm actually taking time to, catch up on some Netflix things. Like I'm almost done with Tiger King. And for the most part, like I've heard people talk about it and people just be marveled at the characters. And I didn't have much spoil for me, so I could still be surprised by what I saw. And damn, it is fun to watch. So I'm doing some things to pass the time and give myself a break. But that's probably been more than 20 minutes. I don't know how long it's been, but yeah, not bad for recording my first episode. If you've stuck with me this long, I thank you. I appreciate it. I look forward to doing more in the future and having it a bit more organized so my train of thought and consciousness isn't all over the place. And yes, welcome to the podcast journey of Brandonian. Hope you have fun. Don't fall off. Anyway, that's it for now. Again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you're still here with me, riding with me, listening to me, I look forward to everything that's to come with this. Challenges, the ups, the downs, hopefully getting better technology, because I think this laptop that I'm using to record this right now is pretty much on its deathbed. It's probably got about another, if I treat it right, it's probably got another 6 to 8 months in it. So hopefully things will change by then, and I'll have better equipment as this goes, and I'll begin to actually interview people after I feel more comfortable doing this podcast as a solo thing. And I do have other upcoming projects, which I'm really looking forward to, not just art wise, but also podcast wise. So that's it for now. I will catch you guys on the back end. My name is Brandon, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.